Hello everyone and welcome back to Eat Sleep Brief. Today we're going to be covering, I think, a really nice video. I think a lot of you guys are going to enjoy this and you're going to be able to apply this to any tank you have. I'm going to be using here the 15-gallon QB because I haven't done it for this tank. My JBJ already has that. And for you guys wondering what it is, well, you've probably read the title of the video by now, but I'll be showing you how to make your own DIY screen top for pretty much any tank whatsoever. It can be a 15-gallon, 45-gallon, 100-gallon, 200-gallon, whatever you need to make a screen top for to ensure that your fish don't jump out. I think that's the main reason why I want to add it. On this tank here, I have a cell-fin goby in there. Gobies are known to jump, although this one specifically kind of doesn't swim up to the water column, so it's not really an issue, but it's better, I think, to have it and not need it than need it and not have it, right? So the basic tools we're going to be needing here, obviously you're going to be needing your screen mesh. You can get that at Home Depot. You can go to like a fabric store and get it. There's a lot of different places you can get it. The one where I got mine was actually at BRS. I forgot the size. I'll try and put a link in the description. It's been a while since I bought it, but there's so much left over where it's going to allow me to make some for this. But BRS does sell. It's like fishing line, except they're really little small squares. You can also, when I went to Home Depot, I also saw they have some stuff there, and I've heard like Joann's, Michael's, they also tend to have that stuff there. So you're gonna be needing that. You're gonna be needing the framing to make like the what is it called? To keep the bugs out for the window. I'm gonna show you here later in the video exactly what it is. I forget the name of it. And then you're also gonna need obviously a tape measure so you can measure out the tank. If you order the BRS, which I'm gonna have a link in the description below, the DIY little tank screen top kit they sell, it gives you everything you need. It has a little rubber insert to hold the mesh on, as well as a tool to kind of put it on. Of course, if you go to Home Depot, you can also buy it there, and you can actually save some money probably going there. But the reason I got the BRS one was because the like fishing line grade mesh they have, guys are saying if it's too fine, you can get the light to penetrate as well in the tank. So that's why I kind of went with theirs, and I really like how it came out in my tank, so I'm going to use the same method here, but I figure I'd show you guys how I do it. Alright, so like I mentioned, you are going to need a tape for this. Later when we go in the garage, I'm going to show you guys the rest of the tools we need, and then write down your measurements. I wrote down my measurements here, and pretty much the way I'm going to have it in my specific tank is going to be from here to here, and then all the way obviously from the front, and it's going to stop kind of here because this here is in the way, but that's obviously more than enough. If the fish is going to jump, it's going to jump from here forward, not anything back. So that should not be an issue whatsoever. So obviously the first thing you want to do, make sure you measure everything. Measure twice, guys and girls. You want to make sure that once you cut, because once you cut it, you're kind of done. You can't go back and add to it. You're gonna have to start from a fresh piece. So be sure you measure 2, 3, 4 times just to make sure your measurements are correct. I did it already on mine. So now that I got my measurements, I take my tape and my little post-it, or whatever you write it on. And now what we're gonna do, we're gonna head to the garage and show you guys kind of the materials needed to complete this job. Alright guys, so we're here in the garage, and this is all the tools you need. So this here, I actually ordered, this is the kit I ordered from BRS. And you can see there's so much in here. I can make like probably for all my neighbors and any friends I know. I have enough to make for their tanks too. So they give me a ton of the mesh, and you can see here the spacing on the mesh. Let me get a single piece here. This one here, you can see it allows for more than enough light to come in. It also comes with a little roller. Let me take it out so you can see it. It comes with the rubber that's going to hold the it holds the mesh on the metal piece right on the inside, and then you have the tool, the roller tool, so you can force it in there. So if you go to BRS, you can order this from there, or I don't know, maybe, yeah, look, it's clear 1/4 inch screen netting 7x7. So I guess if you can find this stuff somewhere else, great, or something similar. And this is a 25-foot roll of spline. But like I said, they sell the whole kit all together. Even comes with the metal, the corners. But if you're not getting it from BRS, you have to purchase this stuff individually. The other thing you're going to need purchase if you don't get it from BRS is you're going to need the corners, depending on what color you want to go. There's black and white. For that tank, I'm doing a white one. And you're going to need this metal piece here, whatever the heck it's called. And for you guys that are aware, this is used on windows, kind of on the outside, so the bugs don't come in. And I'll let you guys see it here. So I got this from Home Depot. Screen frame. That's what it's called. This is that stuff. So you're going to need the screen frame, the corners. You're going to need the rubber piece to, it's going to hold it all in place and hold it in tension. You're going to need the tool to push it in there. Of course, you don't need the tool. You can do it with something else, but it really makes it easy. I'm going to show you guys in the video. You're going to need whatever mesh you're going to be using or netting. I'll be using this, and of course, your tape measure with your measurements. So what I'm going to do right now is I have my measurements here. I'm going to mark out, I'm going to need two, it's kind of 13 by 3/8 is the size I need. So I'm going to cut two 13 by 3, or I'm going to cut actually 4 13 by 3/8 because it's going to be a perfect cube. And when you are cutting, guys, it's very important that you subtract this from your measurement on here, if that makes any sense. Because if you cut them 13 by 3/8, let's say, okay, so if I was to cut this 13 by 3/8, right, just one of them, and I add it here and I add it to the opposite end, it's going to be, it's kind of hard to hold the tape measuring camera at the same time, but it's going to be, I'm trying to see, it's going to be just an estimate. It's going to be 5/8, you can see there, it's going to be 5/8 times 2. I'm really bad with measurements. I might have to do it on paper. So what's 5/8 times 2? What is 5/8 times 2? For you guys out there, I'm sure in the comments you'll correct me, but whatever 5/8 inch, or 5/8 times 2, so you're going to cut it 13 3/8, and you're going to have 5/8 on each side, so it's going to make it a lot bigger than it is. So you need to subtract 5/8 on one side and 5/8 on the other to make it equal this measurement here. I hope that makes sense. If not, just leave me a comment and I'll try to clarify that. But it's very important that you subtract this times 2 from these, because if not, you're not going to be the right size. And don't ask me how I know that. So that's going to be it. I'm going to mount you guys on a tripod so you kind of see how I do everything. The thing I use to cut is this bandsaw here. You can see I've actually been cutting coral with it as well. Yeah, the other day I was cutting some coral pieces. It actually does really nice work on cutting coral as well. And that's the bandsaw here. So I'm going to mark it up with a Sharpie, make sure it's nice and square. And then from there, I'm going to go and cut it. And you guys are going to hopefully be able to follow me and see how easy it is to make your own DIY screen top. All right, so make sure you grab some kind of Sharpie. I'm using actually a really fine point right now. So one side, 13 3/8 is what I need. So measure it out. Okay, 13 3/8. And then remember, we have to remove whatever this piece measures here. So this square piece, we have to remove that times 2. Okay. So, or actually, you know what? I can just put it here. Use it as my template to remove it times 2. And I'm using a square here to make sure my lines are nice and squared off. Okay. And then one more time, because remember, we have to remove it times 2. So this is going to be the actual cut line right here, what I'm about to mark off. Cut line, right? It's probably hard to see on camera, but it's there. So we're going to confirm everything. Okay. So I'm actually very satisfied. Let me just make sure it's squared one more time. Okay. So we set that aside, so I'm going to bring it up to my bandsaw right now, and we're just going to make the cut. So, kind of got everything out of the way here. So for you guys that don't have a bandsaw like I do, you can just use a hacksaw. That's how I did it on the JBJ, because I didn't have this. Actually, I did have the bandsaw, but I didn't even use it, which is pretty dumb of me. But yeah, we're using the bandsaw. I have a belt sander as well. So I'm actually going to be cutting a little bit more than the line so I can clean it up on my belt sander. For you guys that don't have a belt sander, don't worry about it. Just make the cut right on the line. You'll be fine. So you can see a problem I'm running into is my bandsaw can't make this cut because it's actually this arm here, it runs into it. So actually, you know what? Now that I remember, that's actually a reason why I didn't use this, is because now that I remember, I couldn't make the cut. Yeah, it really doesn't matter how creative I get. There's no way I'm going to be able to get that cut. So, let's see. So, I actually do have a Dremel, but I don't feel like popping out the Dremel and putting the bits on it, so we're just going to use a hacksaw and a miter box. If you don't have a miter box, you don't need it. Especially for me, I'm not going to need it that much because I'm going to clean it up with my belt sander. But so here we're going to make the cut, and be very careful, guys. Anytime you're using tools, last thing I want is for you guys to hurt yourself. Okay, so there we go, we got the cut. A little quick tip, if I could give you guys, anytime you're using a hacksaw, you want to let the blade do as much, of the cutting. You don't want to be putting your body on it. So as you can see, I actually left this quite long, and the reason I did that, if you don't have a belt sander, you wouldn't want to do that. You actually want to do it right up to the line. But since I have a belt sander, I'm going to clean it up and make sure it's perfectly square with my belt sander. So I'm going to take you guys over there so you can check that out and how I do it. All right, so for you guys that aren't aware what a belt sander is, this is a belt sander. There's a sanding disc on this side and on this side. So this has a table here. So I'm gonna be using this to put it on the table. Tip I wanna give you guys, if you are putting this on something like this, or even when you're cutting it with the hacksaw, you wanna put the side that you're not gonna see down. So the side that has the rubber piece that goes inside, that piece is gonna go down. So if you do scratch it or mar it up, you don't damage the finishing side, which is the top here. Because if I put it down on this side and I scratch it, well, when I put this on the tank, I'm always going to be seeing this, and I don't want to see it scratched up. So I'm actually going to be coming right up to the line. I'm not going to get super close to the line because I want to head upstairs and make sure it's a final size, because this is actually going to be my template for all the rest of them. So here we go. When you are doing this, guys, you want to be careful because it is going to get pretty hot. And you can see it actually, I guess with the vibration or the heat, it did mar the bottom. So next time I do this, I'll also be sure you blow out all the metal in this thing. I'll probably give it a rinse before I continue. So yeah, it did mar the bottom of it. I'm not worried because the top is the finishing side. But what I'm gonna do next time, I'll probably put a piece of wood or something right here so the table doesn't mar it. So what I'm gonna do now is put in the two side inserts, and we're gonna go upstairs and check it out and make sure this is the actual size we're gonna be using. All right, so we have here the two corners. So before we head up, we wanna make sure we have the two corners. Man, so many little metal shavings in this thing. I'm really gonna have to make sure I clean it up. Alright, so once you're done cutting it, you're gonna wanna locate your corner pieces. And you guys may notice I actually changed. I didn't actually go change, this is a day later. I found out I didn't include the clip where I messed up, but these that I got from the clip earlier at the beginning, it was not 5/16 and I needed 7/16. If I would have paid close attention, and for you guys that play back the video, you'll be able to see it's actually a 7/16 metal framing piece. So I was supposed to get 7/16, not 5/16. So I had to wait another day, which is today. I went out back to the Home Depot, exchange them. And you can see, so once you have that, make sure you clean up any burrs on the very edge, any paint. And then it's gonna take a little bit to kind of work it in. But then once you got it, make sure you push it in flush. And that's how it should look. And then we come back to the other side. There we go. And just make sure it's pushed all the way in, like so. So before we continue, I'm gonna head upstairs to the tank. I'm gonna dry fit this, make sure it fits perfectly in the tank. You know, if I have to go bigger, I'll go bigger. If I have to go smaller, I'll go smaller. It's easier to do now, because once you put it all together, it's kind of hard to make any changes. So let me just confirm that. And once that's confirmed, I'm gonna come back downstairs. I'm not gonna record this, but I'm gonna cut the other two needed, and then we'll show you guys how we continue on with this process. All right, so we're here upstairs with the JBJ 15 gallon, and which is what we're using today to use as an example to create the lid. So here it is, I have it all assembled. But for you guys that own the JBJ 15 gallon specifically, there's two little brackets that sit on either side. One sits here and one sits here. Obviously when it's retracted, it sits like this. Let me mount it on here so you can see. So that's it retracted, and then when you lift up the lid, it kind of holds the lid open for you. So you can see where that quickly becomes an issue when you are using this bad boy here. You can see it, obviously it's not gonna sit flush because it's hitting right there. So one thing would be to obviously cut into this, which I do not, because you're really gonna weaken the frame. I think if you cut into it when it's under tension, it may actually collapse. So the next option that I see is cut them off. So what I've been, I already cut this side off. You can see it's actually not there anymore. It's actually right here in pieces. So I started hacking it with a knife. Started cutting it. I mean, it is plastic. Started cutting it, but I figured it was just taking way too long. So instead, what I did, I put the knife on a vice grip like that. And then we brought out the lighter, and lighter, sharp edge, plastic. I'm pretty sure you can figure out what happens from here. So right now I'm gonna show you guys here how I cut this piece off. I'm actually gonna do it on video so you guys can witness it. And like I said, this is only specific for this tank, because most tanks you don't have to deal with this. So it won't be an issue whatsoever. So let me heat this up real quick, and then once it's heated, you'll see how I cut it off. All right, so you can see here, you want to heat up the edge. And the reason I'm not holding the blade is because obviously the blade is metal, so there's no way I'd be able to hold it. So we're just burning it, getting it really hot, so I can just slice right through it. And then once it's really hot, don't let it cool down. Okay, we're gonna have to do one more pass. This side over here on the right took me about 3 passes. Because as soon as it touches the plastic is so cold, especially here in California, the nights get pretty cold. It cools down very quick. So here we go. Okay, there we go. So then don't put your hand on this, you remove that, set it somewhere where the heat isn't gonna mess it up, and then you come in with these bad boys. And it should just come right off like that. So once I have them off, I just make sure that it's as flush as it can be. And then, since it is and it passes, we actually this does have a certain direction, because I notice it's a little bit shorter this way than this way. But where are my markings? Here it is, like this. it is. Oh, and right now actually there's a little filter piece right here that's in the way. So let me remove this, and then we'll remove this light fixture because I really don't even need this piece at all. I'm gonna have to get all this out of the way. Shoot, come on. I gotta get this back in the water ASAP because you can see the heater just kicked on. So let's get this bad boy over here. I don't think there's anything in here. Oh yeah, I do. I have, what, carbon in here? Oh, 2 of them. So we can get this right here for now. Okay. This is, I guess, pretty cool. I guess if you don't want to put your hand in there. But being that I have my carbon in the bag, for me it does not matter whatsoever. So I'm going to just drop them right in there. So this, you want to set this bad boy aside. Shoot, and I can't get anything wet. So now we should be fine. How does this go again? There it is, like this. Okay, there we go. You can see it's a nice, flush, solid fit. It's actually a pretty tight fit. You can see that I have a little bit of play here in the front. You can see very little, and in the back, there's no play whatsoever. Let me see, I wonder if I should. So what I may do, because in the back it kind of needs to be pressed in a little bit. I'm trying to see where it's encountering this issue. Let me slide this piece in here. Oh, I see it. It gets a little bit tense right here. So this may take a little bit of test fitting. As you can see, I'm trying to see. We have play here, and there's no play back here. So what I need to do, I'm actually going to shorten this back one just a hair down, so we have a little bit more play. But I'm going to do that off camera. I'm going to test fit it one more time, and then what we're going to do, we're going to show you guys how we put the, see, it can almost like pivot. Oh crap. Huh. Now I'm really starting to think. I wonder. Since this is plastic here, but you know what? No, I think the glass comes all the way to the top. I was gonna say if the glass didn't, I can drill a screw into it here and here and use it as a pivot from the front like that. But nah, I'm not gonna risk it because I'm pretty sure the glass comes all the way up to the top. So let me mark here the piece that I need to shorten. Oh, that didn't do much. Actually, you know what? It's the one closest with the little scratch right here. So I'm gonna shorten that maybe a 1/16 of an inch. And once I'm done with that, we'll show you guys how we pretty much get the wire mesh all on this and get it ready for the tank. But